A friend once said something that really stayed with me. They were talking about going home to visit their family, and before they arrived, they felt confident, independent, and settled. And within an hour of walking through the front door, they said they felt 16 years old again. Can you imagine? I smiled when they said it because I knew exactly what they meant. There's something interesting about families. Even when we change or grow, the role we've always played can quietly be waiting for us. Every family develops patterns. Not because someone sits everyone down and decides them, they simply grow over time. One person becomes an organizer, one person becomes a peacemaker, another one is the joker, and we've got the responsible one. And then we've got the others that learn to stay quiet, or the other ones that learn to, keep everyone happy. The years pass, people move away, start careers, have children, build entirely new lives. Yet somehow, one family gathering is enough for those old patterns to reappear, almost without anybody noticing. It's fascinating how quickly, let me concentrate. It's fascinating how quickly we can slip back into our familiar roles. We might find ourselves apologizing more than usual, trying to keep the peace, taking responsibility for things that aren't really yours, or noticing you're speaking less than you normally would. Doesn't necessarily mean you've gone backwards. It may simply mean you're walking into a place where those patterns were learned. I don't think this only happens in families. It happens in friendship groups, sports teams, workplaces, communities. Every group quietly develops expectations. Once people know us in one way, they naturally begin expecting us to stay that way. Sometimes that's comforting, and sometimes it quietly becomes restrictive. Like during my school years, when I was getting bullied, I eventually changed schools. Not linked to the bullying, I changed schools for other reasons. And moving to the new school, it changed my experience and it shaped how I was towards people afterwards. Because it made me more observant and more resilient and more independent in the new school. Because I knew how I was treated in the previous school. So it put me on guard to try and ensure that, I was wary and more mindful of any bullies that might try and come and pounce on me. Yeah. And it was also my way of trying to understand people more rather than reacting to them. And looking back, I wouldn't say I was behaving differently in the new school that I went to. I was more responding to those a different school. It was a familiar environment. And one of the things that I've come to appreciate is that roles aren't necessarily good or bad. Being the dependable one can be a gift. So can being a person who brings humor into difficult moments. The difficulty begins when we believe we're only allowed to be that one version of ourselves. The organizer who never asks for help. The strong one who never admits they're struggling. The quiet one whose opinions always stay inside. Those identities can become surprisingly heavy. Not because someone is forcing us to carry them, because we've worn them for so long, they begin to feel like who we are. Families also have an extraordinary ability to remember older versions of us. Ain't that true? Parents still picture us as children. Siblings remember mistakes we made years ago. Sometimes they see us through memories we've long since outgrown. The same is true in reverse. We can find ourselves speaking to people we love as though they haven't changed either. It's one of the reasons curiosity matters so much. Not only with strangers, with the people we've known the longest. I sometimes wonder how many relationships become richer when we quietly allow each other to change, to become calmer, kinder, more thoughtful, more confident, less certain, more forgiving. Growth isn't only about becoming someone different. Sometimes, sometimes, I think anyway, it's about giving the people around us permission to discover who we're becoming now, not who we were 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So the next time you notice yourself slipping into an old role, don't be too quick to judge it. Simply notice it. Ask yourself whether it still fits the person you've become today. Some roles still feel like home. Others were only meant to be temporary. Knowing the difference can quietly change the way we relate to the people who've known us the longest.